It's funny. Personal branding always seemed like one of those things only CEOs and like celebrities had to think about.
Right.
But honestly, especially in tech, it feels like personal branding is becoming just as important as your actual skills. Wouldn't you say so?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not even just about what you know anymore.
Yeah.
It's how you show it off to the world, you know? And that's why today we're really diving deep into this guy, Bishal Rial.
Okay.
He's a young tech enthusiast, and he is building a really remarkable personal brand.
Okay, so let's break this down a little bit.
Yeah.
You're saying this guy Bishal, who I understand is still a BCA student in Nepal,
That's right.
he's someone that we should all be paying attention to.
Yeah.
What's so special about him?
He's just a great example of how powerful even just having an online presence can be, even when you're early in your career.
So if you think about it, he's into coding, design, digital marketing, even teaching and content creation.
Wow.
That's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, it is.
And
cool.
she's managed to build a presence across multiple platforms.
Multiple platforms. See, that's impressive to me.
Right.
Most people I know are struggling to just keep up with one or two.
Exactly. And that's what makes his approach really interesting.
Okay.
So we found him. He's active on LinkedIn. He's got 2 YouTube channels.
Wow.
He's managing multiple websites. He's even writing on Medium.
So it's not just about being everywhere online.
Right.
It's about using each of these platforms strategically.
Exactly.
Exactly. To your advantage.
And you know why? The key takeaways from Bishal's journey is this kind of just do it mentality.
Okay.
He's not just learning new skills. He's applying them right away.
He's constantly sharing projects, insights, even when he fails,
I was going to say,
which is really refreshing.
you don't see that a lot.
You don't.
Especially when you're first getting started, people are very shy about sharing their work.
Oh, 100%.
Mm.
But you're saying there's value in being open about the process.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially when you're learning.
absolutely. And, Bishal's transparency, it not only shows that he's got this growth mindset, but I think it makes him relatable
Right.
to other people who are on a similar journey. And it's opened doors for him, too.
Yeah.
Internships, mentorships, all these things have come from that.
See, this is what I love, because that's a real actionable takeaway.
Right?
It's one thing to say, build an online presence, but to actually see how taking action, even if it's not perfect,
Yeah.
can lead to opportunities, that's huge.
And he didn't wait to be an expert, right?
Right.
Like, take his SEO expertise.
I did notice you participated in an SEO challenge, and you even had an SEO internship.
Right. So that's a big deal?
That's a pretty big deal, right?
Huge. SEO skills are super in demand.
I bet.
And Bishal's already building a portfolio in that area, so he gets it.
Yeah.
He understands that specializing in something, even while you're exploring other things, can be huge for your career.
So he's learning, he's doing, and he's positioning himself strategically.
Exactly.
That's amazing for
Yeah.
anyone, but especially someone who's still a student.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Bishal's not just consuming information.
Yeah.
He's sharing it really freely, even becoming a mentor himself.
Wait, he's mentoring others while he's still a student?
Exactly.
Wow.
He's been doing these workshops on digital marketing,
Mm-hmm.
sharing all of this stuff with other people.
That's incredible. And it really speaks to a different side of personal branding.
Okay.
That it's not just about, promoting yourself,
Right.
but it's also about empowering other people.
Absolutely. And you don't have to be an expert to start doing it.
Yeah.
Mentoring, even if you don't consider yourself an expert, it's a great way to just solidify your own understanding,
Right.
build those connections, and contribute to the community.
You've given me a lot to think about. This is great. I have to admit, I'm pretty impressed with this guy's initiative.
And he's just getting started. Just
Wow.
wait until we get into his use of AI tools.
Oh, boy.
It's really something.
AI tools, huh? Okay, see, now that's a whole other thing. I mess around with them,
Right.
but I haven't really gone all in or anything.
Well, it's becoming so important to use them. And Bishal really seems to understand that, he's actually shared a whole list of his favorites.
What?
Things like ChatGPT for creating content.
Yeah.
Grammarly, obviously, to make sure all the writing is polished.
Right.
Even Write Sonic to generate marketing copy.
Okay, but is he just using them or is he actually using them well? Because there's a difference.
That's the thing, right? That's what makes it so interesting.
Right.
He's not just using them, he's mastering them. So for example, he talked about how he uses ChatGPT to analyze competitor websites
Okay.
and pull out the best keywords for SEO. So it's all about understanding how to make those tools work for you.
That's a really good example.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not enough to just have heard of the tool. You got to know how to use it to
Exactly.
actually, like, make your life easier and your work better.
Right. And you can really see that reflected in how he approaches his content, too.
Oh, interesting.
It's short, it's actionable, it's
Yeah.
all the things that make you want to share it.
You know, it's funny you should say that. I was scrolling through his social media, and I actually stopped and read a bunch of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I even bookmarked a couple.
That's great.
I was like, oh, this is good stuff.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's how you get people to pay attention these days.
Yeah, because we're all so busy.
Exactly. So much information coming at us all the time. So being able to grab someone's attention quickly, that's key.
It's true. It's true.
And it's interesting, he does things a little differently.
What do you mean?
Well, like a lot of people, they might do a whole blog post about the 50 best Google extensions or something.
Yeah.
He'll pick like the top 3 and do separate posts
Oh, that's smart.
with a good explanation.
Yeah.
Maybe a picture.
Right, right.
So it's really, really smart how he's doing it.
It's like we're all just getting lazier and lazier. You know what I mean?
Maybe our attention spans are just getting shorter.
That's probably true.
I think that's a whole other deep dive.
That is a whole other deep dive, yeah. But I get what you're saying. It's really smart how he's tailoring his content
Yeah.
to, today's world.
He gets it.
Yeah.
He understands how people are consuming information. It's true. And he's meeting them there.
And it's not even all, just, for lack of a better word, techie stuff.
Yeah.
He also talks about work-life balance,
Oh.
which I think is so important.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in tech.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
so demanding.
Yes.
You can easily get burned out.
I think he actually mentioned struggling with that himself, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Early on.
Yeah, he talked about like burning the candle at both ends,
Yeah.
trying to do it all.
Which, let's be honest, it's so easy to do.
It is.
Especially when you're excited about what you're doing.
Right. Exactly.
And you feel that pressure.
Yeah.
So what'd he do?
Well, he realized he had to change something.
Yeah.
He had to like redefine what being productive meant for him.
Interesting.
It wasn't about just working all the time.
Right.
It was about working smart.
Yeah.
And making sure he was taking care of himself.
Taking care of himself. That's huge.
And setting realistic goals. You can't do it all.
Uh-huh.
He even said he tried a bunch of different like time management things.
Oh, interesting.
And shared what worked for him, which I thought was really cool.
See, that's what I like about him.
Yeah.
It's not just, look at me, I'm doing all this great stuff.
Yeah.
He's willing to be like, hey, I'm figuring this out too.
Exactly.
This is hard.
And that makes him, I think, more relatable because we all struggle with that.
We do. It makes his successes even more impressive, though, don't you think?
100%.
Like, if he can do all that and still have a life,
Right.
maybe there's hope for the rest of us.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think that's a great takeaway, actually.
I think so, too.
And it goes back to that idea of personal branding.
Yeah.
Being your authentic self.
Yeah.
Not trying to be perfect.
Right, just being real.
Showing your challenges and all.
It's about the realness.
Yes, exactly.
It makes it feel more achievable,
It really does.
Like, okay, this isn't some out-of-reach thing.
Right, exactly.
This is something I can actually build towards.
Yeah, totally.
So we've talked a lot about what he's doing right.
We have.
But is there anything he could, improve? Because nobody's perfect.
That's true, that's true.
Everyone's got areas where they can grow.
He is actually really good at, like, incorporating feedback.
Okay.
So if people tell him, like, hey, I think you could do this better, he's really open to that.
Oh, that's great.
Which I think is big.
Th-
You got to be able to take the good with the bad.
Right, and actually listen to it.
And use it.
Yeah, not just be like, yeah, and then ignore it.
Exactly.
So that's good. He's open to feedback. What else? Any other areas for growth?
Well, I think the beauty of personal branding is that it's always evolving.
That's true.
So it's less about reaching like a final destination.
Right.
And more about like constantly learning and growing.
It's a journey,
Yes, exactly.
not a destination.
It's about being open to new things.
Yeah.
And trying new things and seeing what happens.
I like that. You never really arrive. You're always kind of on the way to something,
100%.
which honestly keeps it exciting, right?
Right. It keeps it fresh.
Keeps it fresh.
Keeps you on your toes.
Exactly. So Bishal's story, it shows us it's possible
Uh-huh.
to build something really cool,
It does.
even when you're just getting started, which is inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. It's not about like waiting till you're, the expert or
Yeah.
until you have it all figured out.
Right. You're never going to feel ready.
Never. Exactly.
So you might as well just go for it
Might as well jump in.
and figure it out as you go, which I think is what he's doing.
He is. And you know what's funny? It's not even just what he's doing. It's the message behind it.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
So he keeps saying this phrase.
Yeah.
Start, Struggle, build, succeed.
Oh, I noticed that. He says that a lot.
Yeah, it's like his thing.
Yeah, like his old tagline.
And it's so true, though, right?
It is.
Because success isn't the straight line.
No.
It's messy.
It really is.
There are bumps along the way.
For sure.
You're going to hit some roadblocks.
Definitely going to hit some roadblocks.
And that's okay.
That's part of it.
It's part of the process, right?
Exactly.
And I think it's something that, honestly, we don't talk about enough.
No, we don't.
Especially, like, when we see people who are,
We're killing it.
crushing it.
Right. And we're like, oh, it's so easy for them.
Right, exactly.
But it's not. It's never that simple.
We're never that simple.
So as we kind of wrap up here, any final thoughts for our listeners?
I think, the biggest thing is look around you.
What do you mean?
Who are like the Bishal Rajals in your own life.
Oh, I like that.
Those people who maybe aren't super famous or anything,
Yeah.
but they're doing cool stuff,
Right.
and you can learn from them.
That's such a good point.
So much inspiration is right there in your own backyard.
Totally.
You don't have to look far to find it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, find those people who inspire you,
Yes.
who are maybe a few steps ahead of you on the journey,
Exactly.
and learn from them.
Learn from them. Connect with them.
And you never know, you could end up being someone else's Bishal Rial someday.
That's a great point.
Right. So inspiring.
Exactly.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much for this deep dive.
Oh, my pleasure.
I feel like we all learned a ton about personal branding
I hope so.
and maybe even a little bit about ourselves.
Me too. Me too.
So to our listeners, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.